right, problem 5, pipe clamp. So we're getting into a little more complicated, more steps here that we're doing the drawing. And when you draw the pipe clamp, drawing in AutoCAD is no different than drawing in hand. The first thing you need to do is you need to look at the problem and figure out how would you draw it, what shapes does it make it, etc. So if I'm drawing this by hand, the first thing I realize is I'm looking at the shape is that essentially I have a skinny rectangle here that's 16 by ½ inch, and I have a larger rectangle here that is 16 by 4 inches wide. And then I have essentially 2 circles here where I've only got half the circle, so I have the radius. I have circles up here. I have circles here on the corners. So those different things, looking at it, if I was going to draw, okay, if I'm going to draw these circles, I need to know where the center lines are at, right? If I am going to get these curves, okay, well, I need to know, 1, what's the radius? And then 2, where would I find that? So if it's got a radius of ½ I know that I measure in and over and ½ to get my center point to draw it. So those kind of things. Do not panic. AutoCAD is the same thing. You take the drawing and break it down into the steps in which you would draw it. I provide you some steps in the PDF version of the PowerPoint and here in the YouTube. Doesn't mean those are the exact same steps you follow. You follow what works best for you. If your brain works differently, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, so I'm going to show you how to get through and how to draw this. Go ahead and exit out. Step 1, we open up our title block 2015 and we're going to do a save as. Before I do anything else, always double check, and I'm going to make sure it's going into my folder here, and I'm going to call it pipe clamp and tell it yes. So I've saved it to the folder, and then I'm going to do the save time, and I'm going to set that to 5. So the first thing I do when I open a folder, even if it's something that I've already previously worked on and I'm just continuing it, I save as, hit save time. Next thing I want to do is I want to check my OSNAP to make sure that they're all turned on, because that's going to make things work a lot easier. And now we're going to go do the drawing. Remember, we do not draw in paper space. We draw over here in model space. So we have to get our mouse over in here, and we're going to go into it. All right, so go back to my home tab here in the ribbon interface. So step 1 is we want to draw a rectangle. And what I've done is I've actually given you the X and Y coordinates that you can use to help you draw these to make it a little easier. And since we have a specific X and Y, you want to hit F12. There you go. So if I remember, so the dynamic input's on when I go to draw, so we want to hit F12 so that's gone. We do not want dynamic input. Use the rectangle tool, and I'm going to start at 2, 2. So I'm getting a specific spot to start. Next, I'm going to set dimension because I know it has specific dimensions, so D, enter. And then I'm going to tell it the length, and then I'm going to tell it the width. And then I'm going to move my mouse and click. The next thing I want is I want my center lines that are going to go through here. Now remember, when you draw this line, pay attention to your object snaps. You're looking for, see how it's different. You've got like, it looks like an hourglass versus the triangle. The triangle is your midpoint. That's what we want. If you're having problems with drawing a perfectly straight line, if you can't get your mouse to line up perfectly, remember, turn your ortho on, and then you're going to get a nice, pretty, perfectly straight line. So we've got that. Now next we want to draw essentially the little humps, for lack of a nicer word, the part that actually goes around the pipe for the pipe clamp. So I'm going to draw 2 circles. I just want to change the layer. And if you draw, again, if you draw on the wrong layer, never panic because you can always change the layers. That's easy to do. So I'm going to go to the bottom of it, hit the enter key, pick that point, and type in the next one. There you go. Sometimes you have to go get it again. So there it is, and now we're going to use our trim command. So I hit trim spacebar. Just drawing a window, and you can just pick on it with your mouse too. Sometimes drawing a window is great, sometimes it's not so great. Okay, great. Next, so now we have our hump. Now we want to get the rectangle for the top part. I'm going to go back to my rectangular tool, and I'm giving a specific starting point of 2, 9. And then it's going to ask you again, what do you want it to be? Well, it needs to be dimension, so D, enter, then its length, and its width. And then make sure you click in the right direction. Be careful, because if you move your mouse down, you'll click in the wrong spot, and we don't want that. We want it up here. Okay, great. Next, let's go ahead and let's fill out the corners. So here's your fillet tool, and if you click on it, see there's chamfer, bend curves, etc. So there's always drop down. So again, pay attention to your command line. It's asking you, do you want undo, polyline, radius, trim, or multiple? Since there's more than one you want to do, it's multiple. So M, enter. And the next one is, okay, well, what do we want to do? Trim, polygon, etc. Well, we want a radius, enter. And then we type in the size of the radius. And then it's just a matter of taking your mouse and clicking all 4 corners. Not that hard, you can do this. I promise you, you can do this. Okay, so we got our nice round filleted corners there. And then the next we want to do is we want to offset to find our center lines. We need to find the center lines for those circles here in the middle. So I'm going to show you what happens if I go to do an offset. And I'm actually grabbing this whole object and I'm doing it on purpose. Okay, what happened? It did the whole object, right? I'm going to Control Z and get out of it. The reason why is because it's still one solid object. We need to explode it. So I'm going to the Explode tool and select the object. Now I'm going to repeat that offset command. And now I can get those in where I need them. There we go. And then I'm going to grab them. And change that layer to center. All right, and it's not perfect by any means right now, but it's close enough for you to understand the concept. All right, next let's draw those circles. So I know, and again, pay attention to your snap. You're looking for the intersection one. See, there's different snaps that if you're not careful, you can snap to the wrong thing. And then literally type in whatever the size of them are. I'm gonna hit the enter key. Next intersection, enter key, because remember AutoCAD, when you hit enter, will bring up the last command line and the last size. So it goes, okay, you want to draw another circle that's exactly 1/2 inch. It'll draw another circle that's exactly 1/2 inch. Just by hitting enter, picking your starting point, and hitting the enter key again. Okay, our next step is we need to get the hidden lines that project down from these circles down. And then we need the hidden lines that project up. So let's go turn our projection layer on. Go to lines. Again. Make sure you're using the right snap. I hit the enter key twice there, once to finish out the command and another time to bring it up. I still have my ortho on, that's why my lines are nice and perfectly perpendicular without me having to actually do really any extra work. Now, the thing about drawing on the projection layer is you don't have to erase it. Just like if you're drawing behind, you always drew those lines lightly and they were there so that I could see that you were drawing things correctly and that you understand the concept. Projection lines here are the same way, they're just digital. So I will show you in 1 second what I mean by that. What we have done is we have set this layer up for you to use, but we have set it up so, where are you? Let's try this one again. So that even though you see this yellow line here on your screen, when you go to print the drawing, it does not print. It's set to not print. And just to show you what I mean, I'm literally just going to type in layer real quick. It's going to pull the layer up over here. And then I can see the little red X through it, and that lets you know that that layer has been turned off. So it won't print. You can see it, but it doesn't show up on the final copy. All right, let's go change our layer to hidden so we can draw the line types we want. Enter key, pick my starting point, pick my end point, enter key again, pick my starting point, pick my end point, enter key again. All I do is the enter key, last command to where I want it to go, hit the enter key again to end out the command, so that I can keep it. If I hit the escape key, it would escape out of the command instead of keeping it, instead of finalizing it. And then I need to make visible lines, because the lines from here to here are visible. All right, the last thing we need to do is we need to get our center lines where they all look correct. And what we're going to do is we're going to offset out 1/2 inch so that we can make sure that they sit exactly 1/2 inch. So offset 0.5, grab this line and go out. So there it is, 0.5 out. And I'm not keeping these, they're actually just temporary. I'm even going to actually do it for the circles. Sometimes we have to zoom in a little closer. There it goes. To do this. Okay, and I'm literally going to go to my trim tool here first. I'm going to go to trim, spacebar, and pick the outside here. And I just picked a half an inch, 3/8 of an inch. Any of those are appropriate. I just find that a half an inch is typically visual, and it's visually appealing the way it should be, so it seems to work better for people. So I just used the half inch. Now I need a line here in the middle because I also want this to come through, so I'm just going to quickly throw the line in. All right, now we have a tool, and I'm going to turn ortho off. That is the exact opposite of trim. It's extend, so it's adding to. So extend, spacebar, move your mouse and click on it. And notice how it extends the line out to the next object, which is what we want it to do. Same thing with here. Out, 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 out. Come on, out. And I just literally clicking on that line I've already drawn. So instead of drawing multiple lines, don't get into that habit of drawing multiple lines. You don't want to draw a line and attach a line, attach a line. You want to extend it, trim it, etc. Do not, for the love of God, do not just draw another line and add on to it. That's the worst possible CAD drawing style you could use. Okay. So we have everything drawn the way we need it. And I've erased the stuff that we do not need. If it just absolutely drives you nuts, the yellow projection lines, you can delete those if you prefer, but you do not need to. They're going to be there. And I'm going to do a zoom extents so I can see the full extents of this. Remember, you can also go to view, zoom, the different extents, and to pick window, box, etc., whatever you need. So we have it drawn. Let's go to our title block because we want to get it now into the title block. How do we do that? Step one is I'm going to put the layer and border. Step two, I'm going to go to layout, and I'm going to use a rectangular layout, and I'm going to go corner to bottom right hand corner. Come on, catch up to me. There we go. Now it looks like it's okay, right? We need to actually make sure it's to scale. You never just assume that it fits to scale, because typically when it does that, it puts it fit to scale. We don't want that. So I select the viewport I just created. I right clicked with my mouse. I go to properties. And I'm going to go look for that scale, because see, it says custom scale is 0.58. I actually want a custom scale of 0.5, so I'm using it as a 1:2 scale. And then I can, sorry, I got out of the screen. Come here, you. Trying to drag it over. There it goes, come on. So when I right click, it pulls up this properties interface right here, and then I go to custom scale right here, and I type in 0.5 so that this is going to be a scale to 1:2. That's all I did, but I wanted to make sure you could see that. All right, and I'm actually going to hit the escape key so I can get out of that. Next, what I would want to do is I would look at my line types and see if they look correct. If they don't look correct, because right now they look a little off, LT scale, which is your line type scale, you can come in and change them to different scales so that they look correct. So here a 0.5 scale looks much better. So next you would come in and you would need to change your title, the scale, the date, and your name, etc. And this one is worth 100 points, so we don't have to change that. So if you will double click on it real quick, highlight it, and this is problem number 5, pipe clamp. Left click to the outside, double click on scale. The scale to this one is a 1:2. Left click to the outside, your name, the date, your professor, what course you're in, etc. And then do a quick save as again, just to make sure you've saved it. Next is going to be dimensioning. I'm going to show you how to do dimensioning. So we see it pulls it up, and I simply just tilt the save, and I tell it yes. Always prefer save as, and that makes things, make sure you're saving it in the right place.